Well, what about all the innovative wrinkles that McCarthy's been showing these?
Man, I don't know.
Are we getting into it?
Get into it if you want, but I'm going through it today.
You were going through it last night. You were right. This is just boring.
It's so boring, man. Like
you're limited when you have Cooper Rush. This is what you can do.
You're limited when you have Cooper Rush, and I think you were already limited by the game kind of moving a little past Mike McCarthy.
At least if you had Trey Lance, can't you do these limited things? Plus, you might have some other opportunities to
I don't know.
show off his athleticism.
You don't even have to do the full flip, right? I mean, you were just telling me yesterday about Taysom Hill's weekend.
Yeah.
So is it not possible to figure it out? I mean, Taysom Hill is definitely a established pro, etc. Trey Lance isn't. But you can't come up with something? Like, I am in love with watching football. It's very aesthetically pleasing to me. I can find joy in watching different types of football. But whatever you have to watch over the last couple of weeks with this team, it's broken me. It actually makes me angry to watch a team play offense like that. And it was like that before Dak got hurt. And ironically, the NFL right now is about as innovative as it's ever been. It's only going one direction, but they're not.
No, they're always behind it. They're always behind whatever the innovation is. They're not seeing, you see right now like a little bit of a running back resurgence.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, not a little bit.
Hey, you know what? Boy, the way that we've overcorrected away from running backs, maybe now's the time. But right then is when the Cowboys had caught up to the fact that running backs are not what you should invest in. So instead of investing medium in it, they were like, we just don't need any, which is basically what they did by bringing Zeke back. We could just bring back a guy that'll sell some jerseys, and it doesn't really matter. Give him some short yardage stuff. I mean, that's what he's good at, right? I think he was.
He wasn't really even that good at that, which they had fooled themselves on. As Landry said yesterday, it was a running back-friendly market, a buyer's market. They had draft picks. They've had draft picks.
A cheap running back.
And
Derrick Henry was only $8 million.
Yeah.
I think you've pointed out they're paying Michael Gallup $8 million this year.
That is true. But yeah, I mean to just say, well, whatever. We have two rookie starting offensive linemen, but we'll just go complete course correct the other way and just not have a running back. Half of one in Dowdle. Yeah, the league is up about 8 yards a game per team. 0.2 yards per attempt. Like, that might not sound like a lot, but that is.
And if they had brought in another receiver and they were stacked on the outside and said, okay, we're just going to air it out.
Right.
But they didn't even put anything into their receiver group.
No. That's also a good point. They did nothing.
Towards the end of the game. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying I'm fully apathetic to it now, which we can talk about more later.
Towards the end of the game, I know we're going to play like game audio later, but let me give you a little now, because Joe and Troy were just kind of looking back at what went wrong and some of the stuff that we're talking about here.
Yeah, I think, Joe, you go back to it, and I think that's the perplexing part, that CeeDee Lamb got signed at the end of camp. Dak Prescott got signed just before the opener at Cleveland, and had those decisions have been made earlier, it might look a little different as far as how active they were in free agency,
and that's something that we've pointed out quite a few times, even maybe back then.
Yeah.
But, when they're in training camp saying, look, the cap, we can't do things. Well, you could have.
Yeah.
You ended up signing Dak and CD to the exact same deal you could have signed them for in February, and then you would have had more flexibility in free agency. But maybe you kind of did all that on purpose. I don't know, unless you had this delusion that you were actually going to, for the first time ever, sign some guys to a below-market value, because that just doesn't happen here.
Nothing has gone the way that this organization thought that it would when they were making those decisions on how they were handling the free agents that they lost, who they were going to bring in.
Great point.
And nothing is just nothing at every turn has gone their way.
And as you said, as you look at where they stand McCarthy missed the playoffs his first year and then 3 straight regular seasons that were good. But they were waiting on some younger guys to take a step up. That really hasn't happened.
Okay, I wanted to point that out too, because that was a big part of their plan. And it's one thing when guys have shown something and you're like, it's time to let them loose type thing. And that's your plan. If you're just waiting on someone to step up, which was basically the Mozzie plan. Like, I mean, we drafted him that high, so certainly he's going to become something. They even asked Micah at the beginning of the year, like, what about Mozzie? You know, have you seen that
Kind of
indicates?
tired of hearing about it.
Yeah, and Micah's like, yeah, you just got to do it. Like, it's not like he's saying, yes, I've seen this caged animal and he can't wait to be let loose. But that was their plan. The plan was, we're going to let these guys go because, I mean, that's just the way it is. And these young guys just have to perform. It wasn't like, hey, I've seen this in practice. This guy is ready to break out. It was just that, it's kind of his time. He's of the age that he's going to do it.
Let's talk a couple other real quick. I mean, Jake Ferguson was a Pro Bowler last year. Instead of being like, he might have overperformed a little bit, which I guess to their credit, they did draft Schoonmaker. But what do they expect? Was Ferguson going to take the leap to be Travis Kelce this year? Like, did you really think you were going to go into the year with that being your second receiver? It's Jake Ferguson. He's going into his 3rd year, and he was not that highly thought of coming out of college. Jalen Brooks, is Tolbert? Were you like, hey, we think Tolbert now? Well, he's basically, he could be a number 2 on any team.
I think.
Why? He hadn't done anything to make you think that.
I think Tyler Smith and Deron Bland inflated their confidence in drafting people.
Well, I mean, they've been a good drafting team in general.
Well, I know, but you take Tyler Smith when everyone thought this is not a first-round talent, and you turn him into a really good starting caliber guard or tackle immediately. So then they think they can do the same thing with Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe, and that failed. They think they can find guys late like Deron Bland and expect Tolbert to make a similar jump or whoever. But I think they just got really confident in the last 2 years of draft picks, and they haven't hit, and that's who they were expecting to get better.
That's why what you have to do is use those draft picks and sign veterans so that you increase the chances that one of them can produce.
There's no one thing.
Right.
You can never say, hey, we're draft and develop, and then bottom line, that's all we do. It always is a mix.
Same as best player available or draft for need.
Right. You can't always just say we're only going in after free agents,
Yeah. And you know what I knew we were screwed?
It's got to be a trade here and there.
Sure.
A good drafting.
Waiver wire.
Yes.
When Dan went to France and came back, it was like, catch me up on everything the Cowboys did, and I couldn't give one thing.
Well, Jerry said they went all in.
I kind of knew that where the thing was probably headed. There was no news.
Here, I'll finish this cut.
They underappreciated or undervalued what they would need at the running back position.
Well, we've detailed that quite a few times.
And on and on and on. Coming up on the 2-minute warning. We haven't even talked about Trey Lance, who they brought in a year ago or during the season last year. At some point, they're going to have to see what they have in him.
Well, Mike McCarthy's a good football coach, and he's proven that at Green Bay. He's proven it here. You win 12 games 3 years in a row, you're doing something right. But he didn't get a contract extension after he had done that. It's hard to imagine he'll get one now.
No, he's gone for sure.
Yeah.
And he's probably happy about that.
He's so tired of this circus.
Sure.
Yeah.
He'll live a better life.
He's probably not going to get let go before the end of the season because Jerry's probably frustrated with McCarthy as well. I know everybody's frustrated with Jerry for very good reason, but he indicated that last week. What was the thing in the post game? I just remember him.
Oh, McCarthy knows where we know where the sun is too.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That and he sees the lack of innovative play calling. I mean that there are injuries across the league. There are major injuries, and the good teams kind of figure it out. And this is definitely not a good team.
No, but I also, I'd love to know more about the Trey Lance thing, like McCarthy's thoughts and input on that.
I've got him.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean the actual trade. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, the actual trade, we're pretty sure that Jerry has bragged about, hey, I didn't even ask anybody. I just saw this was available and was like.
I know, but like think back to like Alden Smith. Alden Smith was friends with Jay Glazer, and McCarthy like saw him at their gym, or Jay Glazer called McCarthy. So I know that McCarthy can get things done or is heard in roster moves. And Alden Smith was great for them. But on Trey Lance, I don't know. I just wonder, because this whole thing is just a disaster. I will play you one little thing here of Jerry being asked about Trey Lance, because this is a good question from Shireen. It starts off with Jerry trying to end the press conference, and it continues, which happened several times, so I left it in.
Most guys I know that are accomplished in professional sports are really good at counting their blessings and going back to work.
Appreciate your response.
Thank you.
What
Thank you.
improvement have you seen from Trey Lance since you got here last August a year ago?
Oh, I've seen a lot of improvement.
This is the thing, right? He's like, oh my gosh, this guy's been. I mean, you're not going to
So
believe
much
it.
better.
And I think he does some things really outstanding. I think his footwork is noticeably better. And so, I see the value of the reps that he's had. So I'm seeing improvement there.
I understand why you don't want to play him now, but would you like to see him before the end of the year, just considering he's going to be a free agent? You gave up the 4th-round pick just to see what he can do in some real games.
Yeah, I think our best chance is to have Rush in here.
Okay.
And the goal is to win the game. Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like they just gave this guy a free football camp. Like they're like, hey, we think you got something. Why don't you come here and figure it out? And if you do, free agency. Spread your wings and fly.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point? Just at least say, you know what? We didn't know what we had when we got in here. He's really not even close to being ready. And sometimes you got to take a chance. And that's what we did. Because that's the truth. But to be like, no, reps. It's going great, actually. You know when we're going to find out if it's going great? When he hits the open market and not a single team wants to sign him for any amount of money.
No, he couldn't be. He's proven in
can't
2
be a
years
backup.
he can't beat out Cooper Rush.
Right.
And people are looking at Cooper Rush in games.
And he's not going to be able to blame a coach.
Like they're the only team on. Everybody's seeing Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
And they're seeing, okay, this guy is
He didn't work for Shanahan.
very
He
pedestrian.
didn't work for McCarthy. He couldn't pass up Cooper Rush. What's the deal? Well, Jerry says he's getting better. I mean, you can tell it every week.
What's McCarthy say about him?
Well, there's kind of a disconnect because Jerry's saying we're playing Rush, but just reading between the lines here, it seems like McCarthy wants to play Trey.
I think the one thing I should have did at the end, and I just, I didn't do it, was put Trey in there. I could have gotten him a series. That's one thing that I would second guess myself on. But other than that, I mean, we got
Perfect
guys
game.
going down. There's a number of guys went down in the game, and you just got to keep playing. Yeah, I really just didn't want to get into putting him in for a play or two. I mean, there's definitely because he's more than a gadget player in my opinion. So we had him prepared to take a series, and frankly, there at the end, I should have gave him that series, and I regret not doing that.
Gadget player, huh?
Why? Why does he have to be a gadget player?
He's saying he's more than that.
Okay, I misunderstood him.
He said he's more than just a gadget player.
But I don't know.
Well, he really hasn't even been a gadget player. I
Right,
mean, if
yeah,
he were,
at least
they
try
would have
that.
They would have had packages when Dak was healthy.
But if he's a guy that's failed, which he is, again, he is very athletic. We've seen some great plays. Let's do something. Let's get him the ball in the open field. I don't know, just get him out there.
Well, you don't want him to get hurt, because he's yours and he's going to be here for a long time.
No.
Actually, he's going to be a free agent. Hey, they signed your guy. Didn't they sign Will Greer for the practice squad
Hell
this week?
yeah. I'd love to get some Greer games. Will the thrill.
But, yeah, it's really weird because Jerry made the trade, and you would almost think he wants Trey Lance out there. I would have
Right.
thought it was the other way around, that Jerry
Yeah.
was the guy pushing for Trey Lance and McCarthy was holding him back. So
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it is weird because Jerry seems like he made the trade, made headlines, the big sizzle, high premium pick coming to town, but also I could have definitely told you he was going to be the guy who thought things were still possible to be salvaged. He'll be the last one off the boat.
we were predicting last night, at the end of that game, we were saying we think Trey Lance will start Thanksgiving game.
That's a good call. Yeah.
Just if they get destroyed again this Sunday, and then you're facing possible apathy and the low ratings, people taking naps during that Cowboy. Like, now that there's so much football on Thanksgiving,
And
that might be this is going to be my time to eat.
you might also have already had your fill of entertaining football with the Detroit Lions.
Oh, yeah.
Like now it's the Bears, but still.
No, the
I
Lions
want to watch the Lions.
are all the rage right now.
They're fun. I mean, there's really nothing to even talk about from the game.
What about Trey Lance is still just 24. Like, is there something there that he's still a young, moldable guy?
Sure.
But let's say he went out there and did something great and really showed something. Well, now he's a free agent. What are you going to do? Sign him?
The Trey Lance defenders will tell you that Trey Lance is younger than Bo Nix.
Yeah, but he's got to play. Bo Nix went to 2 colleges and played a lot.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That ship might have sailed.
You're writing a guy off who's not even 25 yet.
Well, then he needs to go to like the XFL or something. Figure it out. Trey Lance played.
Jack's not 25, and I don't think we need to throw him in there. I don't think you could just go by age. You got to go by what they've seen. And
Dude, Bo Nix, listen to this. Auburn 13-11 10 games. Oregon 13-14. He threw almost 2,000 passes in college. Now let's pull up Trey Lance for comparison. Because that's what really matters. And yeah, a lot of guys get screwed by the system. They get gobbled up, they never get an opportunity, and then they're broken by the time you have a chance to try to develop them.
let's see. Highlights of the game. Obviously, the 64-yard field goal. Oh, this was kind of funny. The end of the game, Troy and Joe were talking about. I'm just going to fast forward because he gave a highlight of the game. They were just talking about the old Monday Night Football, and Joe started singing like Don Merrifield.
Of course, Axe would have just. Are you kidding me? These guys, they're already singing.
I could have used a cocktail in about the third quarter.
Here comes a bright spot, though.
That's it. Third quarter.
Yeah.
Brevin Span Ford with a catch. He's been a bright spot tonight.
Not sure I walked away from that game going,
He's been a real
bright spots tonight.
Or just the way he said his name, Brevin Span Ford.
Yeah, whoever the hell this guy is. Dude, Trey Lance threw 318 passes in college. Bo Nix threw 2,000.
Yeah, but look at that touchdown to interception ratio.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy.
All right, do they know who Brevin Spanford is?
Here's a completion for a first down. And out of bounds is Brevin Span Ford. Just his third catch of the season. The rookie, good for 17.
Yeah, it's a good job by Cooper Rush stepping up and getting the ball for the pickup. And
Whoa.
Yeah. Naga, not going to work here anymore.
Funniest moments of the game?
Tyler Guyton trying to pick up a football and run with it was pretty funny.
I don't think it was very funny to Mike McCarthy.
He was asked about it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Are you gonna-
Guiding on the fumble. Do you? I mean.
We're not teaching no linemen to carry the ball. That's twice now. That was a big play, obviously, in the game. We need to fall on the ball.
Yeah, it's like he just cut him off before he could even finish the question.
And he did not play the next series.
He did not. No.
Oh, was that related?
Yes.
We're laying down the law. We're benching you.
He was like 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Again, you pick that up. What's next?
He's trying to stiff arm a guy.
You're able to corral the bouncing oblong object.
Spins.
What's next? Yeah.
He's telling all of his other
Reverse
offensive
field.
lineman mates he played tight end at TCU. He can run with the football a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously it sucks for McCarthy because that just falls right on his doorstep of preparation. But, dude, linemen are told from the age of like 10, don't try to pick the ball up.
On the stream, I thought it was a lot of fun when Cooper Rush fumbled that shotgun snap, and then they were showing the slow motion.
Yeah, if you got dumb face, slow motion is not your friend. That's tough.
That was a great moment. CD Lamb signaling a first down, 5 yards short of first down.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I didn't hear if he was nobody's going to ask him about that, but I would love to know. That is a very embarrassing situation. Very. Again, I've never seen someone that far away. Like, it almost looked like he had got back to the line of scrimmage or something and saw the wrong.
He must, yeah.
Saw the
that
wrong,
had to be.
the wrong marker.
Because they were behind the chains, yeah.
He said, do you have any CD audio or no? I just have some.
He's super
some
generic,
quotes.
man.
He did at least take responsibility on the offense.
I think he's faking all that.
Okay, he says, I take it real personal for the offense to be the reason we're losing in these blowout games because if you look at it, somebody asked him about the defense. They're giving up a lot of points, but, bro, we're scoring 9 points per game.
Okay.
So that's good. But he did say this, everybody is looking to embarrass us right now. When they had that opportunity to try to put us out, we had so much success over the last 3 years as far as the regular season. It's starting to bite us right now.
Huh.
So he's kind of like, hey, there's almost a woe is me. There's a target on our back. Like, you don't want to beat the Chiefs. Yeah, if you're the champions, people are coming after you all the time, and it's a big game on their schedule. And he's saying because we won so much in the past, it's like that's why these are big gaps in the score. These would be closer games if these mean teams weren't trying to embarrass us because of the 12-win seasons we've had.
That's obviously not true, though I do think that among NFL players, there becomes like a thing that reflects how the fans are, which is that if you're not a Cowboy fan, and in this case, if you're not actually playing for the Cowboys, you're tired of their shit. So to the extent that a little extra oomph matters, I do believe that other teams kind of are like, man, I'm tired of this team. They suck, and I'm tired of hearing about them on every TV on at the facility. I want them to lose.
They're always going to have that.
Yeah. So
when they're 8-8, you have that.
But I don't think that's why they're routinely losing by 20 points. I don't think that's the issue.
That's the thing too. This is you know what? Wait, I think Joe and Troy mentioned it, but I want to go over some of the point things. Let's look for amazing stats. Okay, they're showing Jerry dejected in the booth at the end of the game.
Only imagine what's going through Jerry Jones's mind right now.
And now 6 straight games they've trailed by 20 or more points. Longest streak in NFL, not Cowboys, NFL history.
That's really surprising to me. Because remember a few years ago, maybe it was 10 now, but the Cowboys had like kind of a historically bad defense.
Yeah, the Mike Nolan year, McCarthy's first year.
No, even the Romo era had a pretty bad.
Is that the one you're thinking of?
Somewhere in there, yes. There was a couple years. They go through ups and downs, but like really, really bad. Like bad as the 1960 Cowboys.
Yeah.
The expansion team, stuff like that. So to hear that this team is in that like NFL history, no team has trailed by 20 in 6 straight games. So congrats.
Yeah, you shouldn't even be up for those sort of stats anymore, given the way that the league has gone, It shouldn't be possible to blow somebody out like that. You should be scoring as well, opening up offenses.
They have lost all their home games this year. or in 2024. So maybe this includes the Green Bay game because it's 2024.
Probably. Yeah.
By a combined score of 235 to 101. In the 5 games this season, been outscored by 118 points. The third largest margin in a team's first 5 home games of a season ever. Any team in the NFL. So there were a couple teams that were actually worse than this.
I do have Jerry being asked about fan apathy a little bit.
That's the thing he most fears, correct?
There were quite a
This is from the fan.
few empty seats at the game. There were quite a few Texan fans there. There were Cowboy fans. There were bags over their head. What message does that send to you? Do you take that as a statement that they want change?
I've seen that with not just, I've seen it with most teams. And I think that...
Okay, so what he focuses on there is that the Texans angle. He focuses on there were a lot of Texans fans there whenever, they're asking. Marjay's like, hey, Texans fans, people are not in their seats. People are wearing paper bags. Does it seem, is it because people don't care? He only addresses the Texans thing and then
the fan thing. Like you see a lot of Green Bay fans.
Right.
He's
able to ascribe that to like, oh, well, the Texans are close. We're popular or whatever. So he doesn't have to address the real question.
And I think that certainly our fans are avid. They wouldn't be out there if they weren't avid. And I'm disappointed that we're bringing the team that we are to the field, and we've got to improve on that. That's not acceptable. Over the last, you've heard me say this, but it's factual. Since the Super Bowl years that on a personal basis I was involved in, since those years, counting about 30 years or 25 years, we've been the 6th winningest team in the NFL.
Bingo.
In the last 15 years, we're the 5th winningest team in the NFL.
Bingo.
We haven't been to the championship playoff game. We haven't been to a Super Bowl, but we've been around that rim.
Right around the rim.
The rim.
Yep. And thinking about this last night, this is different for me. I am still a Cowboys fan, and this is the first time I've ever felt like this ever. And I'm having a bit of like an existential sports crisis right now because it's very hard to make me apathetic towards a sports team that I love. He knows. He's seen me. I'm a very passionate person. I'm a very emotional person, probably to a fault sometimes.
Hey, maybe Bernard James could be our starting center for the next 10 years.
Sarge, baby. But that's the thing. I just want the feelings. That's why I'm into this. And if you think about like what sports fandom is, if you really just strip it all the way down, it's just that you want to experience different feelings. That's all it is. And you think, hey, I find this thing, like I said, this contest aesthetically pleasing. You know what? What if I preferred one team to win instead of the other one? Then I'd kind of feel something while I watched it. I'll feel something when they win, when they lose. Hey, I got another idea. What if I find a whole bunch of other people and they like it whenever they win and don't like it when they lose too? Now we're in business. And we all pool our experiences and emotions together. And when we win, it's great because we're all together. And when we lose, you're bummed with other people. But that's it. And people say like, well, sports, it doesn't matter. Like, nobody's dying. Like, yeah, well, what matters is what you put value on. So people are like, I want to feel something. I'm going to feel this with all these other people. This is going to bring me joy, sadness, pain, hope, whatever. And you get to feel it with everyone. And for some of these teams, most of them, they are gifted customers, people who care about their product. You don't even have to do anything other than make them continue to want to care about your team, winning or losing. And for some, they get gifted a ton of them. Like generationally, it's like, you're going to grow up watching this. All you got to do is care. If you're bad, hey, there's hope. We're headed in the right direction. If you're good, you make it pretty far, then you don't win the whole thing. Well, you had fun along the way, and again, when you lose, nobody dies. That's the fucking point of sports fandom. And they can't even maintain making you care about it. That's how lost they are. All they have to do is a little bit here and there to make the fan base care. And they've fully gone into the Cowboys are a front for the rest of our business operations.
And a part of this as a sports fan, at least for me, is you begin to fall in love with these cast of characters along the way. Like
of course.
Those Romo days with Dez, like I loved Dez Bryant, and I wanted to see him succeed. And when they failed, it hurt me because it hurt for Dez. But watching Micah and Trayvon cut it up down 40, watching CD put on this fake-ass front of it hurts me when I can see it in his eyes. It doesn't bother him. I don't like this cast of characters, and I'm tired of watching them. I don't care.
The camera caught Dak. The camera went on Dak in the booth, and he was sitting back like this.
Yeah, and then he
saw he was on camera, and he gets up, and he
all
taps
fake,
his pencil.
man.
He's like, no, I'm really into this here.
It's all
I'm really
fake.
Trying to figure this out with the guys.
I mean, I think for the most part they care a lot, but
I kind of see what Blake's saying.
I do see what he's saying. But they have a lot of give up in them.
This crazy-ass owner, McCarthy's, the game has passed him
their
by.
Their goals, I feel like everybody's goal on the team is to get the second contract. They don't have team goals.
Well, they talk about it enough.
They all want to get to the second contract.
They know what to say. They don't mean it.
No, I'm saying, but hell, they'll just flat out talk about, the
Dak's
second
like,
contract. Hey,
yeah.
I gotta look out for my other fellow quarterbacks. Yeah. And Mike is talking about who's getting paid and who they should pay first, and he's ranking other NFL quarterbacks on his show. It's just I've never felt this level of. It's almost like I'm upset because I don't get to be upset. I guess that it's going to wear off. I will not watch that game next Sunday until that night or the next morning. I just don't care. There's nothing that could happen that will make me happy or sad or excited or let down. It's just there. That's it. That's me.
Yeah, that's kind of why you want to see Trey Lance. Like,
yes.
Is that just something to care about?
New. Yeah.
Something to...
Somebody actually fighting for something. And that's cool to watch. Somebody who cares.
What about the 64-yard field goal that they take those points off the board, then they end up driving down the field, and they do a turnover on downs after a 4th and 2. So there's a lot there. Let's start with that field goal, I suppose. I think you have to take the points off the board. Do you?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we joke it's cool for Brandon and stuff, but that's a pretty much a no-brainer.
But
yeah, I think Troy...
Do you have a lot of confidence that your offense can score a touchdown? Because otherwise, why would you take 3 off the board?
Because I have the same amount of confidence that unless it's 4th and 2 where they ended up, that he could just hit it from anywhere else.
Yeah, I guess, but you're expecting to do the exact same thing you did. So why would you?
No, I'm
take the guaranteed 3
What I'm
away?
saying is that you're taking it off so you can possibly score a touchdown. And outside of exactly what happened, which is you blowing a short yardage play where you're close enough to actually say, we're going to go for it rather than kick, you're going to be able to kick it from anywhere. Like the downside is very little. They just found it by being at 1st and 10 from the 16.
Okay, because if you can make it from 64, you can
make
make
it
from
from
50
anywhere.
or anything inside that.
Again, for positions I've never had before, if you actually did want to win this game, I might have kicked it from the 8. Because you're getting the ball back at half, and I have no confidence you could pick up 2 yards on 4th and 2. So I might have been okay with a damn 25-yard field goal. You go into half down 20-13.
And the execution of that play was horrible.
I don't even know what it was.
Wait, is that the one that was after the 64-yard? Okay, so Troy has a problem with both. Number one, I guess kicking that field goal would have been made it a 1-score game there instead of it was still a 2-score game. But you want to hear what Troy said about that 4th and 2 as well?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, yes.
Because it tees right up into what he said on the ticket a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you go back and take a look at that 4th down try, and you're going to see these 2 receivers over here, Jalen Tolbert and CeeDee Lamb, and they're running. I don't know what's happening over there. They're in the same area. And then you got Jonathan Mingo, the newly acquired Mingo, who he actually does a good job of giving Rush a spot to go. But ball just gets away from him. And, analytics says go for it, and I get all that, but sometimes analytics get you beat, too, if you get a chance to cut it to a one-possession game. But, that's why these coaches get paid what they do. They make the decisions, but they're still down 2 scores.
I think that's what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Just kick it. Now, I guess he wasn't questioning the 64-yard.
No.
He was questioning the, right there.
And I thought he was going to say, he could have just said, I know analytics says to go for it, but sometimes analytics, and he stopped. I thought he was going to say, doesn't know what shape this Cowboys offense is in. Because
that's part of it, too.
Yeah, it's always part of it
and
with
I think
any analytics.
They might have said that somewhere in the broadcast. Like this, you got to also know, 4th and 2, do you have the Bills offense? Do you have the Chiefs offense?
It's taking the NFL average, which you are not.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not.
That's generic analytics. You have analytics with this team.
That play, on the stream, we all said it right when it happened. Like, why are there 3 guys standing right next to each other on the short side of the field, and Rush is rolling that way? Like, you want to just bring every defender over here and see if he can really thread the needle.
And you roll a mobile guy out to give him a run-pass option. Cooper Rush is not running the football. That's clearly a play for Dak.
I don't think he was about to take a Josh Allen tuck and just truck into the end zone from inside the 10. No. Jerry was asked about that also, taking points off the board. But, again, I left the start of this question in here because this is only 5 minutes into a 17-minute press conference. And I just thought it was funny that after he tries to end it, the press conference goes 12 more minutes.
Even though Cooper plays better, is there some point you would like to see Trey Lance start and play some?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I want to give our team the very best chance it can to, in all phases, be successful. And so we're going to go here with a quarterback that gives us the best chance to win the game. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Well,
this goes 12 more minutes.
But we'll make that decision. Got to make it real quick, though, this week.
What do you think about taking those points off the board at that point?
Well, after we missed the field goal to come back, I wish we'd kept them up there and wish we hadn't.
Confusing, right?
He's talking about 2 different field goals.
He's talking about 2 different field goals.
Does he mean when we missed the 2 points or the 4th and 2?
Yeah, I don't know.
Gotten the break that we got, but I think everybody did. But for shame to take a field goal that impactful or that good length and all included with it. But
that was a really good field
goal. We were trying to score 7 or 8, and so we took
8.
8. I don't get crazy.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're gonna go for 2.
Yeah, so he didn't flat out say like, "Oh, I wish we wouldn't have taken the points off the board," but
were his words, "It hurt taking a field goal that good off the board"?
Yeah, right.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and it was also.
I agree.
It did hurt.
It was a cool field goal.
Yeah.
What if it was the NFL record?
They wouldn't have taken it off.
No.
You think they wouldn't have?
No, they would have gone full baseball. And just,
that's a good
I mean, you might as well, but if their reasoning is this gives us a better chance to win the game, then you should take it off.
Yeah, but everybody would be talking about that this morning, and Jerry would like that.
Yeah. Bright spot was Turpin.
Yeah, sure.
Then I guess now after that bright spot, then criticism comes to, hey, this is a guy you've had all along, like, should you be trying to do some stuff with Kevontae Turpin if he can actually run the fastest in the NFL? You know, would a Mike McDaniel or somebody else, Ben Johnson, look for ways to get this guy the ball in the open field?
Man, I would think so.
Not just with, the CD jet sweep, which seems that they don't seem to have a lot for CD, but they realize I got to use CD a lot because, like, he is good and probably more to the point of Jerry paid him $30 million, so I got to make sure that Jerry knows we're trying to use him as much as we can. And I don't know.
No,
I mean, again, look, you have certain guys, just the Trey Lance example as well. You have Trey Lance. You've seen what he can do athletically. I don't know. You're not worried about preserving his health. Get him out there. Let's see.
Turpin's free too. He's not young, so it'll be interesting to see. But I bet another team could make use of him next year. He's kind of proven himself.
64-yard touchdown.
Again, he's just a lot of guys proving they might be able to do something somewhere else. Is that the theme? If that's what you get out of Trey Lance? I don't know. What's the point?
And now, so how many games left? 6?
Too many.
Too many? Do we just, now is the national talk?
It's next head coach.
I was going to say, next head coach.
Yeah, that's all anybody's.
And then
that's the whole
maybe
story.
even rank the Cowboys opening with other openings. Like, who we think? Jacksonville,
the
the
Jets.
2 New York teams.
Yeah, I was going to say possibly the Giants.
Saints have an
Saints.
interim right now.
Probably the Bears.
Yeah,
Where are we at with Carolina? They just got
They hired him
2 years ago.
Yeah, Canales.
I think you probably get because their deal is like they have to get off that train at some point of firing a coach every year to year and a half because they've gone through some. Dude, the amount of money they owed to other coaches, like the amount of money they owed Matt Rule, they were paying like 4 coaches at once at some point.
Bears.
Yeah, he said.
You said the Bears. Sorry.
Yeah, that one seems pretty.
That's the one last night we were landing on as a good McCarthy landing spot.
I could see it.
Yeah, I would like that.
I could definitely see it.
That he's helped a couple of, you could say that he, look at Dak's numbers under McCarthy. Very good. Led Aaron Rodgers from a young pup into what he became.
Yeah, and again,
so now they got Caleb Williams. We're welcoming him. Look at his big old. He fits in Chicago. Looks like a Chicago guy. Back in the Midwest. Back in the NFC North.
Look at him. He doesn't even need a coat in the cold weather.
That's what we need. I could see Chicago liking him.
Or Cliff.
Yeah, Cliff was mine the other day just because of Caleb and USC, but also he's about as un-Chicago as Chicago gets.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I mean, someone – here's the thing.
He is more Dallas.
Right now, this is not that attractive of a job. It was a very attractive job when Mike McCarthy took it.
So the Jags, would you say more attractive? I mean,
it's close.
You get more control, certainly.
And you might have the number 1 pick.
Dallas is going to be close, dude.
Jets, you're going to have no quarterback. You're going to kind of just be starting over.
Yeah, I mean,
Saints.
Would you want?
Similar.
I would think Jacksonville might be a little more attractive just because I still think Trevor Lawrence is good, and I bet somebody can sell themselves on that. Dak is not going to get better ever again, which is fine because he played at an MVP level last year, so maybe he still has the ability to be like a top 5 to 7 in a given year, but that's never going to be a consistent thing. It's probably not going to happen. Trevor Lawrence could still win an MVP. I think.
Could.
But like Tennessee, what's their scene?
Oh, yeah. Well, they just hired a guy. I don't know if they like him. But you wonder if they got to give him more than 1 year.
Stefanski, I think they just paid him.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
It's a very weird one.
Boy, that's not an attractive job.
No.
I would think Cowboys at least could be better than that. Could Belichick come in here and do anything different?
He's not fixing Dak. That can't be done.
Boy, how do you think Belichick and Micah would get along?
He's got skins.
Yeah.
Micah is impressed by skins.
Not tell Micah anything.
Belichick?
Yeah, well,
I think
okay,
he
what if
absolutely
Belichick
could tell Micah.
comes in and says, Micah, stop doing your podcast?
He would stop.
No way.
I believe he would.
I do too.
No.
I think
He
Micah almost is like a young LeBron where he needs a firm hand. He needs some direction.
But I don't think you're telling that guy what to do.
I think he would take it. I think he would take it and realize this is going to get me paid following this guy.
Okay, what if Vrabel tells him to stop doing his podcast?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think he could still go a little harder than Mike Zimmerman, as he calls him. Yeah, it's over.
You need someone that can come in and – I mean, I think it starts with Micah. direct Micah and get a hold of him. Because they're just running free right now, and there's a culture problem right now with the Cowboys.
Well, you are old.
I am.
It's mad at the Christmas lights.
But it's a part of why I don't care about this team.
The players doing appearances.
Want to hear Micah before the game?
Car dealerships.
Yeah, because he didn't talk after the game.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
Micah, what are you guys saying to each other about how you can salvage this
Hold
season?
on. Why is he talking to anybody before the game?
I don't know.
Oh, is this on the field?
Yeah, they do
Okay,
the pregame.
yeah.
They grab one player.
Got it.
Just staying resilient and just taking it day by day, and that just starts tonight. We got to take care of business tonight. The whole time, Monday night is no better. We the show, so we're going to take advantage of that.
No, Dak, and you've said that you've got to take over the leadership of this team, and that the defense has got to be the light through the darkness. How do you do that?
Man, we got to create turnovers. We got to get the ball back to Cooper Rush as many times as possible. It's time for me and Seven to really take over. We the young guys, but we're going to bring the light to this team.
And that starts tonight with getting after C.J. Stroud. How do you make C.J. uncomfortable tonight?
Number one, he says the right things.
Yeah.
They all do.
He says things. He's memorized what to say. But I don't know that he is a leader type.
Trayvon?
Definitely
Absolutely
not Trayvon.
So he mentions the two of them, and I'm like,
You just got to get after him. You just look at
C.J. Stroud.
over the tape, pressure. When he's comfortable, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the NFL. But, like always, you just got to put a little pressure on him, get him off his spot, and, some good things can happen.
All right, thank you, Micah. Good luck to you tonight.
I don't like how friendly he is with C.J. Stroud. Like, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Really, no one's saying that.
They're good friends.
Yeah.
No one is saying that. They are good friends, and this is my old manness. I don't like.
But at least he's in the other conference.
That doesn't bother me.
Publicly buddies with Philadelphia Eagles and.
Yeah, that.
Oh, you just made it different though.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with him being
the Governor's Cup,
Stroud.
bro, is now in Houston. It is rolled down to Houston, and we are.
It bothered me when he had Darius Slay on his podcast. Because, the Eagles, that's a division rival. But AFC quarterback, I don't know. You're right. I hadn't considered the Governor's Cup.
It's looming large over all of this.
What's going to take us another 7 years to get it back?
And it was so frustrating watching the Texans run to the side and pick up that wheelchair and hold it up.
Okay, you hadn't reiterated the nature of the
They pushed each other around in it. Like they did a lap like they do with the Stanley Cup after a game. Yeah,
everyone gets to spend a day
everybody
with it.
Skates it. Yeah, right now everybody. The next 53 days, every player
they chunk it in a pool.
Every player gets to park in the very close spot with the blue painting on the ground.
Jeez.
At the facility. Want some more audio? Are we just playing audio?
Yeah, for sure.
You want game audio here? I don't know if you want to go to any actual football guys talking football.
Well, most of what I have left on audio is Jerry talking about the near death that occurred with the stadium falling apart before the game.
Well, I can play you the Lisa Salters report on that.
Okay.
Welcome back to Dallas, where there was an issue here at AT&T Stadium during pregame. It started after the retractable roof was opened around 4:30, and a piece of metal fell from the roof onto the field. No one was injured, and they cleared that piece of metal away, but there was another piece about the same size that also fell, got lodged onto a catwalk above the field. NFL security determined it wouldn't be safe to play with that piece of metal up there. They either had to bring it down or secure it somehow. They went with Plan B. Stadium workers bolted that piece of metal to the catwalk, securing it in place for the time being until they can safely get it down after the game. Joe?
Yeah, Lisa, well covered by you. And
okay,
it was...
I just kept in Joe because I wanted to hear well covered by you, which I guess it was.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Lisa Salters, and she gave us – I got some info I want to talk about with that. But then Joe will also say,
I mean, we were thankful, obviously, that nobody was hit by that piece of metal that fell.
We were thankful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really
especially this month.
My takeaway from it.
It's a month of gratitude.
That's right.
They did say it landed like 10 yards away from the ESPN countdown set.
It's metal avoidance month. It's They're gonna wear a thing.
Is that why you grew a beard?
Yeah, they're gonna wear a little thing on their jersey.
Yeah, what if it hit Scott Van Pelt?
I mean, they say it wasn't that far off.
We were saying, so killed a maintenance worker.
Not a team employee.
Not a team employee. Do they still play the game? It was at 4 p.m.
Yes. As long as Jimmy Nelson pointed out, there's no Ray Rice video.
If there was a video of killing the maintenance worker?
No game. Possibly no games all weekend.
Okay.
Because, dude, that
I
person,
won't go down. I should have started lower. I was going to say killed illegal immigrant maintenance worker, but you've already said no, just a regular maintenance worker.
No, I don't think so.
That they don't play the game. Severs arm off of maintenance worker.
Video or no?
No video.
Game played.
Video.
Touching tribute pregame.
Dude,
Do they send that arm to the kid in Austin who plays basketball, the one-arm basketball player?
Okay, think about this though. Like, I don't think you guys are like fully wrapping your head around what this video would look like. Like, if we had a video that's exactly like the one we've seen, but it ended with a guy's arm coming clean off, like Hans and Franz style, like that would be one of the grossest things to ever be put on the internet.
And it crawls back to.
Like, it would be splurting. I don't know. You probably don't shoot out blood like in Hans and Franz, but
yeah, I don't know.
I think you don't play if there's a video of anybody getting a body part lopped off by the roof.
What if it grazes an ear like Trump, and then it's.
Then you probably play. But, I mean, it could have been bad. Like, if you've seen that video, that could have really hurt somebody.
The metal thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was then interested in the fact that
rigging it up.
Another piece got lodged, and they were like, well, I can't really get it out there. Yeah, we just bolted it on. And then, so from what I understand,
Arkansas.
Well, maybe Jerry has more in this, but from what I understand, it's because they were opening the roof.
Yeah.
And so now that loosens some stuff up, and then they just like scrap that plan. Like, let's just close it then.
Yeah, I'll play it for you. I mean, it's a little confusing, but because it's Jerry and it's something I don't really understand.
You had wind gusts a lot all day long, and
True.
Wind apparently.
The roof was closed. Why would the wind all day affect that?
Because it's shaking the panels around.
Did a little damage, and then when we tried to open it up, the winds got underneath the roof at that time, and so everybody agreed that it did some damage. But if you check around, Dallas had wind gusts all afternoon. I think they call them wind bursts or something like that.
Wind bursts.
Those kind of thing that ended up causing that damage, apparent damage, and we were aware of it when we were opening the door a few hours before the game, and had planned the minute we saw that not to open the door, not to open the roof.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense. We were aware of it when we decided to open the roof. We were well aware that these.
Then we planned to not open it.
And then once we saw that happen, we just decided not to open it. Well,
and we were aware of it when we were opening the door a few hours before the game, and had planned the minute we saw that not to open the door, not to open the roof.
Will it impact the ability to use the roof going forward? The damage that happened?
No, it's fixable, but you didn't have, it wasn't a situation, time or otherwise, to do it tonight, and certainly there was no risk at all to anybody on the field playing once we shut the roof.
Key, once we shut the roof.
And again, we've got a lot of wind gusts in this area this afternoon.
Which, I mean, who could?
Apparently, that created some looseness up there, and then when we did try to open it up, the wind got in there and exacerbated the looseness.
Jerry, what did you make of that? Happen? Does it make you somewhat think like
nice use of his
go
ass
right this season?
Not really.
Wait, I'm sorry. I talked to her.
I just thought it was a good question from Machota.
Make you somewhat think like, can anything go right this season?
Not really.
They need to call Qualis.
Yeah.
Qualis Roofing.
Yep.
They're right there in Arlington.
I know. They pop over and take care of it for you. He was asked about it a few more times, but I don't know. I mean, The whole
what would
thing,
that job cost? So Qualis Roofing.
Well, here's the thing.
What is a general roofing job? 20 grand.
You
or something? I don't
probably
know.
have to at least factor in Jerry getting a sit-in out of the deal.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Or an annual, yeah.
Do you do insurance covers it?
Yeah, I don't have any idea, man.
But what did that roof? Because they never open it, is my point.
Right.
And had they just made it a dome stadium and not a retractable roof, could they have lopped $1 billion off of the cost?
Probably. I don't know if I don't know.
Like, why
about
not?
$1 billion, but I'm certainly it could be.
It's so rare that they have it open.
Because the old stadium had the hole in the roof.
Because of God. That's all it is.
Because of God, and unless you look at the facts and determine, well, it was actually because they were going to do a retractable roof and then they just didn't.
At Texas Stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we have that story a couple weeks ago?
I believe so.
Okay, you want to hear Joe and Troy having a little fun?
Sure.
I'll just give you a couple Joe and Troy's. Here is...
Here's a handoff to Mixon, and flags fly again. Must be Monday.
Oh, my.
It is indeed. It's a roll. Settle in, baby.
Okay, I like that.
I think that if they kick it out of the end zone, we should just pick those up and move along.
There's no foul on the play for illegal formation. We have a touchback, ball we placed at the 30-yard line.
I think you bring up a good point. Old business, new business, good. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
That's how I like those meetings. Yeah, you've been around me a while.
Anybody got anything to say? No? Good. All right.
Yeah,
see you later.
See you next week.
That's why I love Troy Aikman.
40-yard try hits the upright.
Okay, so this was after so Brandon Aubrey misses the kick. They had put up a big graphic about how great Brandon Aubrey is.
And that is a full network jinx. I'm not taking the fall for this. It was everybody.
I'm not either.
Troy's giddy.
40-yard try hits the right upright, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is his first miss at home as a Dallas Cowboy. Is this just, he slipped.
Yeah, he sure did. That left flat foot slipped.
Dude, all it is he knows he's not calling a serious football game. Like, I'm not saying they never cut up when it's Chiefs-Bills or whatever the case may be, but they know this is not a real NFL game. Let's have fun with it.
Did we never said at the beginning of the show that we talked to Brandon Aubrey this morning. We'll be playing that at the end of the show. Did we promote that?
No.
I don't think so.
I meant to promote that.
You could add it in or something if you wanted, I bet.
Say,
That'd be weird.
Tease it, and I'll put this at the very beginning.
Why are you being a jerk?
If you want.
Okay, so put this in before the open.
Yeah, I'll put whatever you're about to say.
Is it happening now?
At the beginning,
What we're saying
and
now
I'll keep it
is
in.
playing before the
All right,
open.
do it now.
Yeah,
And then
yes.
will people hear it again
Yeah.
during our Cowboy?
Do
sure.
it now.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
We just talked to Brandon Aubrey. He was great, and we recorded it, and then we're gonna play it at the end of today's episode. And see.
Is it over?
And
okay.
Here's the open.
And you're guaranteeing me that's gonna sound good later.
I think it'll sound funny.